Hello, graphic design students. This is Ms. Fitchorn, and we are at the end of on Friday, October 8th, learning how to take the Gravit document that we started yesterday and how to either create a background or how to place imagery that we may have created in a photography app such as Photopea or Photoshop. The first thing you're going to do, since yesterday we already created a print document that was custom sized 11 by 17, 11 inches wide by 17 inches high. We dictated that up here and we created it in inches, not pixels, not millimeters, not centimeters, inches, 11 by, and we were to save it, last name, first initial, underscore, concert poster. So you can either look for it in your computer and you can find out where it saved it, or if you go to Open Recent, you can find it it saves like the last 7 documents you've created. So here I am, Fitchorn N underscore concert poster, and that's how I can find what I did yesterday. And there we go. Now notice I have my grid on, I have my guides on, I'm ready to rock and roll. Remember, bleeds are everything that's outside this document. You always have to go 1/4 of an inch over in your imagery. So knowing that, let's say that your concert poster background, if you leave it like it is, your background's going to be white. Some of you had asked, well, how do I make a background? Yesterday you were on me. You're like, where do I start? Well, I'm going to show you how you start. I guess the first thing you should decide to do after you've researched ideas, even if you're pulling a photo in that you've manipulated in Photopea or Photoshop, you still probably would want to put it on some sort of background. So I'm going to show you. Basically, it would be just like if I gave you guys all a white piece of paper and you're like, no, I want my poster to be blue. Well, then we have to create an equal size like layer of blue paper, in this case, a blue layer, a shape, right? Because this is a shape, it's a rectangle. So you would want to go to your shape tool. And if you want an all solid background across the whole entire thing, once you click rectangle, you'll notice that it's got this little hairline type thing. If you go, remember you're supposed to go outside of your document for the bleed, all right? And you left click and drag, and you'll see that it's got this covering on it. Now, over here, notice it's telling me that this layer is a rectangle, and you can turn on and off just like in Photopea. You could turn on and off the layer. You can also lock layers so they don't move. A lot of people like that feature. Now, what they were saying in one of those tutorials is you can change the position of this selected item, and I know it's selected because of the bounding box. This blue thing is called a bounding box, and all the little dots are called anchor points. But this is telling me where it is on the X and Y axis, and it's also telling me the size of it. And look at here. All right, it's there's the width, there's the height, and then the link means that if you keep the ratio, which you don't want to do, you don't want to, because that would mean if you change the width to be 12 inches, then the height would also be 12 inches. So make sure your paper clip is off. And then if you have an angle that you want to rotate it, that's what that would be for. But in this case, let's say you want the background of your poster to be, I'm just going to choose one of my favorite colors in the whole, well, I love the color black, but I also, charcoal gray is actually my favorite color. And I like them all, but this year it's charcoal gray. So if you go ahead and look over here, this is telling me that my fill is gray. All right, so you double click like in the video. You can go back and watch the Gravit tutorials later. I'm not gonna go into a lot of details of how to make special effects. You can watch the Gravit, but I'm gonna, click once, and you can choose any color you want for the fill, not only in the shades and the tints. Remember, shade is when you add black to a color, and tint is where you add white to a color. But you can also choose down here, like whatever color you want. Again, I'm not going to show you special effects. That's down here on the bottom. You guys can do that. I think I'm going to show you guys, what if you don't want the whole background blue? Like, I'm going to make a Harry Styles poster, just like show you how to place like your imagery. I'm using Harry Styles. I didn't change the imagery or anything, but I do know I can't just plop the Photopea image down on here. I want a black background, so I'm gonna make, maybe you'll want half your poster black and half of it white or something like that. So let's go ahead and leave this layer right here, and he right now is using a lot of turquoise colors, so I'll leave it turquoise. But then I want the bottom half of the poster, maybe where the information of the concert is, down here in black. So then just simply draw another rectangle right there, click rectangle tool, and then again remember to stay outside the bleed for printing purposes. And then this time I want my fill to be black. All right, that's easy, right? And then I could just put my imagery and my text here. That's like the most basic. And then some of you guys are gonna go, but what if I want a white border? A lot of times posters have a white border around them, and it helps frame everything to keep it so it doesn't look like it's floating off the page. Maybe I don't want to bleed, Ms. Fitchhorn. Well, what I do is either design within the safety lines, right? That pink guide we made in the live active area, or what I have a lot of graphic design students do is I go ahead and have them create a rectangle again, but watch this. I do it over the whole entire document right on top of the actual, I actually like it to be an empty, oh, we should be able to. Okay, so they don't have in Illustrator, they have an empty fill where you can make something like empty in the middle, but here they don't. So what you probably would have to do in that case is make it so that way when you click on it, that the opacity is 0, but then we can put a border on it. You go, Miss Fitchhorn, where's the border? Where's the white border around everything? Well, if you click on borders, right, you should be able to get that drop down. Huh, that's weird. It's not letting me do it. Huh, that's so odd. Am I doing that? Sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to see. It's got the fill, but I'm trying to put a border on it. It's not letting me at that time. So in that case, I don't know if it's a grab it thing that I have to explore later. In that case, if you want a white border, remember that pink safety zone, right, that we have to stay within. Well, then maybe make your shapes like stay within that pink safety zone. So then maybe you would make sure that you stay within that safety zone. So see how it's inside my artboard at the minute? Okay. And then that way I know that there's going to be a white border. So that's when you don't want to bleed. When you don't want to bleed, you have to stay inside the pink zone where the safety zone is. Okay? Okay. So you can adjust the size of that, and that's how you can make that happen. Don't forget, you don't have to use a solid background. There's other shapes as well too, and you don't have to have it all the way on your artboard. There's the ellipse tool, which means circle. All right, and if you click and drag, what if on one corner I want a bleed of a circle, and notice when I pull on it, it changes size. How you keep something proportionate is, watch, when I hold the shift key, I have this perfect circle. All right, and if I don't hold the shift key, it's all kinds of wrong. So if you want a perfect circle, hold the shift key and let go of the mouse first. And then let's say I make this one pink. Okay, even though that's not the kind of pink he would probably use. He'd probably use more like, let's see if we can get it. Yeah, probably more like in there. All right, and then you could always do a drop when I click on that circle. If you want to do special effects, watch the videos. But again, like if I want to drop shadow of, like, let's say white or black or something, you can see what the drop shadow did. It leaves like this three-dimensional effect. See how the circle looks like it's popped off? So you don't necessarily always have to keep the stuff on your artboard. You can have shapes floating in and out. Not only is there an ellipse shape, but a polygon tool. When you click the polygon tool, you know what a polygon is. It's anywhere from like 3 to 5 sides, 5, 10, 15. There's a lot of, I just know up to octagon, which is 8 sides, but I think that there's dexagon, which is 10, I believe, and there's probably way more. But what's really cool about this is that you can, the tool that she was using earlier to transform shapes is underneath your pointer tool. It was the sub-select tool, and when you click the sub-select tool, see these anchor points? You guys can, look at that, look what happened. What? Ah, so cool. You can change the color over here. What? Okay, I'm going to undo Command Z. You can go ahead and look at that. You can make it any kind of shape, like play around with that. The subs, oh, that's pretty cool. What? This is even better than Illustrator. Uh-oh, I might be sold. Anyways, that's play around with that. That's what this is all about for you guys to experiment. It's not going to happen the first time you do it. Triangle tool, when you draw a triangle, it's just that you fill the color, you've got your special effect, you can change the border. I don't know why it's not letting us do borders down here. That's really making me angry. But that might be a huge issue. But what I will tell you is, again, the sub select tool, anytime you have a shape, you can use the sub select tool to try different. Oh, what? I mean, not every, don't throw all the bells and whistles into your poster. Stay really focused to what your poster is going to be, but you can also rotate. If you look at the little white anchor point at the, it's not really an anchor point, it's like a rotation tool. If you click on the white one that's standing outside of the bounding box, you can use that to rotate. And you're going, well, Fitchhorn, what if I want like this triangle behind the black? What if I don't want it on top? Well, there's something called a stack. There's like a stacking order of things. And up here is bringing the element forward or sending it backwards. Watch what happens when I've got this selected with my, hold on, pointer tool. Make sure you're on the right tool. And I want to send the pink one backwards one step. And then let's try again. There it goes. Sometimes you have to click it more than once because of all the different layers over here. But check that out. You can like send things back and forth. Command Z to undo. I kind of like it just hanging out there. Now you're going, but Fitchhorn, okay, I got this cool background. I got an area for the text, like where the concert's going to be or the event. But I worked really hard on creating this Harry Styles photo that like in Photopea, and now I want to bring that image into Photopea, Miss Fitchhorn. How do I do that? So I will tell you, kids, how to do that. What you want to do is you want to go to this little thumbnail that looks like a JPEG thumbnail, the mountains with the sun. It's like universal. And you place your image, and it's going to say, where, my dear child, is your image? And I know I downloaded this morning. I didn't have time to edit it in Photopea, so this would be a no-no. If you just pick a photo off the internet like I'm doing right now and just plop it down on there, it's a no-no. You actually have to edit your photos in Photopea, but I didn't have time for that, so let's pretend that Fitchhorn did the right thing. And I've got this little picture of Harry, and so it's as easy as that, guys. Now in Illustrator there's a few more steps, but in Gravit we don't have those steps. All right, and then you can see you can just go crazy with this. Like you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. The possibilities are endless, but do remember, do not overreach your speed level and how fast you're getting this and how much time you have to invest in this poster. Keep it simple, guys. You can always add all the bells and whistles later. Let's see how to save this now. Now, I already opened up my document from yesterday, so it's last name, first initial, underscore concert poster. I'm going to click the save button. So I'm saving my work. All right, but let's say it's ready to download. Let's say I use the text tool, which I'll show you guys tomorrow. We're learning all about text tomorrow. Let's say I've got my text, I've got my imagery, it's ready to submit to Fitchhorn for a grade. You have to save it a couple different ways. If you go up into File and you go up to Export, I need you to save it as both a JPEG and a PDF. And the only quality, because we're working free, is 150. All right. Does anyone know why I would want you to save it as a JPEG as well as a PDF? Why would we want to save our graphic design work as both a PDF and a JPEG?
Does it?
Go ahead.
Does it? I can't remember if it was something about the there's something about the quality of JPEG, and then
Yes.
something about JPEGs just being easier to download and run through other programs.
Yes, pretty much. You're like 90% there. Yes. So first of all, the PDF is, and the Savage, the scalable, right here, Savage. The scalable vector graphics are the files. The PDF and the SVG are what you send off to a printer in order for them to print your stuff. And if you're going to expand, pretend this is going to be like a huge poster on the outside of, you know, the Oracle. you know, and they want to blow it up to like 200 feet by 300 feet or whatever proportionately. We would want them to have the savage of this, right? But what a JPEG does, you guys, have you noticed on your Google Slides, when you guys are making a Google Slides presentation for your classes, what file type do you have to use?
PDF?
Have you made a Google Slides for a class before? I know you have. Think about
Oh,
it.
what?
Like when you go to put images into your Google Slides, what is the extension?
JPEG?
JPEG?
Yeah. Yeah. And if I'm making you guys for your final to get out of this class next year, when we come back for round 2 of this, one of your files is you have to have a digital portfolio of everything you've done in my class. Do websites have PDFs on them or JPEGs?
JPEG.
JPEGs, yeah. You guys have to create JPEGs of all your work because I'm making you do a portfolio, and you might as well start saving every single thing you do in Gravit as a JPEG as well as a PDF. One is a print file and one is a digital file. JPEGs are used for all digital applications, including social media. Notice you can't upload a PDF onto your social media sites, your Instagrams. It's always JPEGs, right? If you don't have a JPEG of your work, you can't show off your beautiful work. So make sure that you save both. All right. Now that I've been recording all of that, now I've wasted the time of the tutorial. But anyways, so now we saved it both as a PDF at 150 DPI for the free version. We can't do it 300 for the pro. And then JPEG. And if you were sending this off to a client, you'd want to send it as a scalable vector graphic as well. Okay, because that means you can like do limitless things with that. All right, that's it for today, kids. I'll see you tomorrow where we learn to place text in Gravit. Goodbye.